Hi everyone, welcome to the next installment of our rigging tutorial series. Today we're going to talk about getting the teleoperation system up and running and playing with the robot. So we've got the robot already initialized, as we saw in the previous video. We've got our teleoperation task, a 3D camera with some lighting on it. The lighting is handy for users to be able to see shadows and also for ensuring kind of a stable color for your computer vision if you're using that. This was just an LED light off Amazon, pretty easy to get, hooked up to a pretty simple little power supply. Next we've got our Raven computer. We've already checked our network to make sure that we're on a static IP address. We've pinged between our with our master computer. We've got the robot all initialized. And then we have our master station, a very convenient spot next to the engineering station. We've got our two Omega 7 haptic devices, left and right, a 3D TV for easy use, and then we have our master computer, in this case just a laptop, with our Ethernet and USB plugged in, and our foot pedal. For my system, I have each foot pedal set up to trigger the pedal down and pedal up states. So now, once we've already been initialized, we're going to come here and start up our Mantis client. The Mantis client is used for the Mimic Mantis Duo or the Force Dimension devices. If you have any questions about that, talk to me and I can walk you through that. If you're using the Phantom Omni, then you're going to have the Omni client. So the Mantis client starts up, and it's going to wait to see something from the GUI server. And once it does, you'll see the GUI server allows you to input, and the Mantis client starts its interface loop. So you can use almost whatever password you want. I like to use 0. You can use 123 or 1234, and that gets you in. First step is to make sure your IP address is correct. You always need to go in and actually select the IP address you want. And then we're ready to start. Hit start. And then on the robot side, we'll see those periods start to print out at about a 1 per second. And that just means that it's received 1,000 packets. If you see a message saying that or a little red message saying that it must have dropped some packets, that's fine. If you see it in the middle of operating, however, that means that there's something funny with your network. And so now that we've started up, we can leave the scale where it is, and we just want to make sure that the connection is proper. So we can go pedal down and just check that everything's kind of moving in the direction we expect it to. We can open and close our jaw, and all the rotation looks okay. So we'll check that with both sides, and everything looks all right. Now for actually using the robot, for new users who might want to go a little bit slower, you can give them a scale of about 0.4. I sometimes even just set it at 0.5, and most users are pretty respectable that they'll kind of take it slow by nature. If you trust them a little bit less, then a smaller scale means it's a little bit harder to hurt the robot. An experienced user can go up to about 0.5 to 0.65. And let me just throw out some 3D glasses and show you a little bit what we can do. So if the range of the robot or of the devices isn't quite enough to get to where you want, then you can bring your hands all the way down, then lift your foot up, and then bring your hands in the opposite direction. It's called clutching, like taking your mouse off the mouse pad. And then once you kind of get that workspace into a nice spot, then having that high scale means that you need to clutch a lot less. So, go. So this is the fundamentals of laparoscopic surgery block transfer task. And the task here is to take all of the blocks from your dominant hand, pick them up with your dominant hand, pass them to your non-dominant hand, and then place them on that side. Then you want to move all of them over to one side before switching and bringing them all back. This is a task that, when completed successfully, means that you have not dropped any of the blocks or placed them in the wrong spot. So there's no rule that you can't swap them kind of like that, but it's traditionally faster to grab from the top like this with a nice easy swap. Once you get a little bit more comfortable with the system, you can also be working with both hands at the same time, and that will really improve your score. So when you're using this as an experiment, things like number of drops and completion time are useful metrics for correlating with skill or ease of use. And now we've got all the blocks back, and that's a completed trial. And then do you want to do, your orientation is going to be relative, your position is relative, so that means you can start however you would like. I find that lining up some axis, or some of the axes, allows me to control it a little bit easier. Right now it's at a pretty natural home state, so we can kind of line it up however you'd like. But if we kind of keep everything straight and normal, then and then kind of go backward, you can see that the tools go backwards, and then as we bring it back, it goes back to the same spot, and then back like this. And then as we roll to the right, we'll see that the jaws roll the same way. And then if we roll these cans, then we'll just roll mostly along that axis. We can also line up our jaws together like this, like you'd see on a Da Vinci, and that's also a good way to kind of figure out what the robot's going to do when you move. And then going back to a natural position brings the jaws like that. And then if we want to just kind of play with him like that, it's not too hard. It just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of thinking, and then you'll be on your way to mastering Raven teleoperation.